Well, hello, friends. David Nuno here. TexAgs Rewind presented by Yeti. He's Billy Liucci. Billy, the show was pretty much baseball. We did some football, but a lot of baseball. I just want you to respond.
Don't do that little apology. It's baseball season.
It wasn't an apology.
I know, but people do no football. We were about to go heavy football from now until January.
Mm-hmm.
It's about to start. But hopefully there's a lot of baseball to talk about beyond today, beyond tonight's game. So beyond tonight at about midnight. We'll see. Stanford, it's a tall task, about as tall as those trees out there that they kept hitting them over yesterday, and so did Targach.
Yep.
And Jace would have too if there wasn't a big wall in the way. But we need a lot more of that from A&M tonight, because it definitely feels like if you got one game in you where you can win a 14-10 type of low-scoring football score, I need to see it. Those of you that are my age or older remember A&M beating Stanford 10-7. R.C. Slocum against Bill Walsh. Greg Shorp with the game-winning touchdown catch from Jeff Granger, baseball pitcher, 21 strikeouts over at what was then Olsen Field before Bluebell Park.
You just did a Nuno thing. Voice went like that. It was great.
They went over there to Stanford and won a football game in the Pigskin Classic, I believe my freshman year at A&M, 10-7. Okay? Before Corey Pullig took over for Jeff Granger back then. I would take that score of an Aggie win tonight, and it might be where the Aggies need a Granger to Greg Shorp touchdown to knock off Bill Walsh and Stanford, because that football score from the early 90s, late mid-90s might be what it's going to take for A&M to advance tonight. But it's doable. Look, it's like I said earlier. They looked like world beaters last night, Stanford did, when it all came together, and they just, they had all the momentum. A&M's pitchers looked shook. The batters looked like they got out of sorts for a while. It's one game. Saturday night, A&M beat that team. And then they held them to 5 runs. Sunday, before they beat A&M, they scored 6 in a dogfight with Fullerton. The Aggies scored 20 runs in their first 2 games, was it? Yeah, 20 runs. They can do it tonight. It's going to be a tough one.
So Billy talked baseball. Bronny talked baseball. We did a lot of baseball, obviously. J.B. Moss joined the program as well. We had some football thoughts here on the TexAgs Rewind.
Yeah, I think it just lets you just play baseball. I think gripping the bat too tight and trying to do too much, those are real things. And you're more prone to do that when you're behind, right? When you're ahead and you're feeling good about your pitcher and he's throwing strikes and he's down in the zone and he's working at a great pace, you kind of get in a rhythm and feel of a baseball game, sort of like football. When the offense is moving the ball and they're playing, offense and defense is playing together, it's much more fluid. So hopefully that's what we see from A&M tonight.
What about the mindset in an elimination game? You've been there before. What does it feel like? Is it, just give me the nerves, the situation, lay it all out for me?
Well, it's just all chips are on the table. Your season's on the line. It's plain and simple as I can put it. You're going to do whatever it takes. You're going to exhaust yourself physically and mentally, and you're going to do whatever is needed, whether it's put a bunt down, hit behind a runner. If your arm's sore, who cares? You go out and win. It's all hands on deck, and it's whatever I can do today to help A&M be able to play tomorrow. So nobody will care how they feel. Nobody will care about their emotions. Everyone just, galvanize together and let's do whatever it takes to win this ball game.
JB, I know you probably got a player's mindset here, but have you allowed yourself to think about the what if? What if they win? What's waiting for them?
Oh, are you kidding me? Of course I have. Listen, I've got maroon-colored glasses, and I've already, pictured us holding up the national championship trophy in Omaha. I look ahead, and, matching up with Texas in the Super Regional, of course, would be, amazing. Of course, my bias would want that to take place in College Station. Who knows if that's going to happen? But, I feel good about this team, and they've shown us they can compete with anybody in the country. I truly believe it's as simple as it comes down to the starting pitcher. What's our starting pitcher going to give us? What I do like is we've been productive offensively early in the ball game. So I feel like if we can be productive early in the ball game and we can get a quality start, we can beat anybody in the country, Stanford included.
Well, let's talk about Jace turning back on. Like, we know how important he is to this team, but getting him going yesterday, and really Trevor too, getting his 3 hits, just getting those guys back on the same night.
Yeah, and Austin Bose had 3 hits, and Targach homered, and Minnick homered. Minnick started to come around a little bit, and you had a huge day from Hunter Haas to beat Stanford to put you in the regional final. So, the offense, not as opportunistic last night after the first inning as they maybe have been, but it goes without saying you're going to have your best one tonight because you may have to slug with Stanford, and Stanford's got some bullpen options available to them. It would not surprise me to see them start their ace, Quinn Matthews, and essentially try to get a couple of innings out of him. And then they've got a really talented closer named Ryan Brauninger, who can be erratic with the strike zone, but has great stuff. He kind of reminds me of Brandon Garcia a little bit, just like a big, hard-throwing lefty with good stuff. They can probably piece together a couple of more of their high-leverage guys, but they won't be out there for long. So they're in the same situation as A&M in terms of pitching. So, this thing could be a really high-scoring affair. If you've got heart medication that you take, I'd make sure you don't miss that dosage today.
What's going to be the out of the left field thing? Is it SEC expansion potentially or no?
No, I think the SEC is pretty set where they are, but it was interesting. I had Brandon Marcello on my show today on Locked On SEC, and he was at ACC Media Days, and he's kind of making the rounds. And he said the vibe he's getting from all these other conferences is everybody's talking about chasing the SEC. Everybody's talking about what can we do to catch up to them, whereas the SEC, they're the trendsetters. They're the ones saying, nah, we expanded to 16 and we're good. I think what we're going to see, Nuno, the next step is people jumping ship from the ACC. I think it's Florida State, Miami, Clemson. I don't know where they're going. Maybe it is, discussions about maybe entertaining coming to the SEC, but I think that's the next step is we're going to see the Pac-12 start to deteriorate. We're going to see the ACC start to deteriorate. I think the Big 12 is actually doing a pretty good job. I think Yormark's lining up his ducks in a row saying, we're going to just take the best of what's available and keep building. But you're right, man. Something else is going to come. I don't think we're sitting pat at where we are right now.
You can't let the ACC guys, the major players there, go to the Big Ten if you're the SEC, though, right?
The ones that make sense. Like, I don't care if Virginia or Virginia Tech go to the Big Ten. I do care if Clemson, Miami, or Florida State, because those are all in the SEC footprint. And I've said for the longest, it would make sense to add those. But what people always tell me is it's about eyeballs in other states. You want to add another state. But to me, it's so stupid. It's like there are eyeballs in Tallahassee, and Florida State's a national brand. Miami is a national brand. Like, I'd be completely fine adding those kind of schools to the SEC. I think it would be tremendous. But it's like I always say, David, be careful what you wish for because someone has to suck. That's my slogan. Like, someone has to lose. It can't always be Vandy coming up the rear in the SEC. Somebody's got to lose. And as we know, A&M last year, a 5-7 year, like, that's not acceptable. But my God, you add Texas, Oklahoma, and then the thought of maybe adding a Miami, Florida State, or a Clemson, that makes it even tougher. So maybe we should be looking more to add a Wake Forest or an Indiana or something because somebody's got to be the whipping boy.
Where you just don't know exactly what to expect because they're Omaha good or they're two in barbecue bad. You just don't know. Game to game, week to week, certainly. So A&M Texas to me would be a coin flip series. Damn, there's an opportunity ahead of you, David, when you look at some of the teams that are not going to go to Omaha. So let's not write this season as done yet. But even if it were, you see what Aggie baseball has done in the first 2 years of a new regime, and it's really, really exciting.
It has been very exciting, and that's why when you bring that up, it makes me think about SEC football this past year, like the possibilities if you take care of your business of what it could have looked like. OB always talks about how LSU had A&M season. You're kind of looking at this kind of postseason right now. If A&M can figure it out, and then it's a big if against Stanford, right? They can figure it out. The possibilities are really there.
It's wide open, man. I'm telling you. Outside of Wake Forest, it's wide open. That CWS field is going to be wide open, and you're 2 giant steps, but you're 2 steps away from it. You're 1 game and a best of 3 against a team that on a 1 to 10 scale like based on how they've performed and played this year, I would say if Texas is an 8, then A&M would be a 7. You know, you're right there. Either team can win that series, regardless of where it's at. Too, there's going to be so much complaining when, like, if they win tonight, if it's in Austin, or if it's in College Station, there's going to be so much complaining on either side. And the thing is, the visiting team is still going to have a very real chance to win if it happens. If you're looking for a silver lining, if A&M loses tonight, then you at least cost Texas a regional. I'm kidding. I want to see the Aggies and Longhorns play for a berth in Omaha so badly, and I think so many A&M fans do based on all the texts I got, and everyone was getting way too ahead of themselves because Stanford. I watched Miami all week, and I watched Stanford. If Stanford's the 8 team and Miami's the 9, there was a massive ass difference.
Thank you, friends. Just do what you're supposed to do after this. Like, comment, subscribe, and anything else Billy says to do. Just like, comment, and subscribe. That's it. That's plenty.
What happened?
I just told him to like, comment, and subscribe.
Tell your friends.
Yeah, there you go. We're done.
We're texting about baseball.
Baseball.